Alright guys, this will be different, and what I do mean by this will be different is we'll be approaching this from a different angle. I'm not going to show my screen or FX or none of that, because this is an issue rather that I know that a lot of people do have, and it's when you're backtesting results, when you backtest your results and they're never the same in a live market. Now, most people would say things like there's a reason why they don't backtest, because backtesting is not the real market, which is true, right? It's nothing compared to real life trading. The emotions aren't there, etc. But if you're someone that is trying to get your foot on the ground, the only way you can have an idea of what you have, or if what someone has taught to you is good enough, is if you go in there and backtest. Now, and I had a conversation with a friend, I think this was like on Friday, and they were quite frustrated, to say the least. And no, I'm not going to mention who the friend is. Now, the frustration is basically what the topic of this video is about, right? When you backtest and you know that you have a solid, you have a bulletproof thing and it works, right? You've probably gotten in like 12, 13, probably 2 years worth of results. But then when you get into the live market, it's a sieve. What you have is a dot. Like it's just, it just seems like you're tricking yourself. And yeah, they were quite frustrated, and to say the least again. And now we're able to narrow it down to one thing, right? Strike rate. Because I ended up asking a bunch of questions. Do you think it's this? Do you think it's that? Do you think it's this? Do you think it's this? And when I called out strike rate, he's like, yeah. So I had to ask him, okay, is it that the strike rate for your strategy is bad, or your execution of the strategy, right? The strike rate of that is way too different from like what you backtested. And he literally goes, yeah, that's it. My execution strike rate is bad. Now, I know most of you, if not probably 99% that will watch this video, or maybe 90% that are watching this video, are having these frustrations. The reason why you're having these frustrations is mostly because you're not objectively looking at things. And when I mean you're not objectively looking at things, is that when backtesting, people don't account for the emotional and mental capital that a strategy is going to take from them. All what everybody looks at is, okay, if I trade this, cool. After every 4 losses, I'm fine. Or after every 7 losses, I should be fine. Right? Things like that. No, hardly do people look at the emotional and mental capital that strategy is going to take from them, because there's always a price to pay. I would always say it, and I would probably repeat it probably to the day I die. Strategy is probably about 20% of the puzzle. Believe me, profitable traders can come out here, and I'm talking about people that are actually making money, can come out here and all drop the strategy. And probably still the same percentage of people that are actually successful in FX, it will still remain the same. Probably about 10%, 5%, 3%. Because everybody thinks once you have the weapon, that's it. All right, I'm cool. Once I get the weapon, that's all there is to it. That's the thing when you're backtesting. Do you take into account the emotional and mental capital that strategy is going to take from you? Now, let me give an example of what I mean by the emotional and mental capital. If you have come up with a strategy, right, and let's say your strategy is a swing strategy, right, probably would have about 8 trades a month, and you're seeing it do, let's just go with percentages, right? You're seeing it do 20% every month. You think, oh, that's it, that's great. But then you are someone that is highly impulsive. So you have gone ahead and worked on something, and you've seen that it's doing double digits, anywhere from 10 to 20 to 25% every single month. Probably would take like 8 trades and that's it, right? But you as a person, you don't have the patience to wait for that. And that's the thing you haven't looked at in the backtesting. You haven't said, this thing that I have come up with, or this thing that I have been taught, how does it apply to me as a person? Would I be able to effectively use this strategy? Would I be able to effectively use this weapon that I've been given? Because those are things you have to literally pay attention to. I am someone that is in between impulsive and I can chill. Now, I will never, I struggle scalping trades, right? Like, that's like get out day and take 5 trades, 7 trades a day. I struggle with doing that. And at the same time, I struggle with taking 8 trades a month, 7 trades a month, that's it. I had to find like the middle ground. So when I finally came up with the strategy that I am using now, I had to find that middle ground for it so that it could work in tune with who I am as a person. Now, that's one example. You probably have to find something that works in tune with who you are as a person. Or if you can't do that, if you feel that's going to take a long time, then you have to go the harder route, which is change who you are as a person. And the reason why I'm saying the harder route is that most of us are in this game. We're probably 18, 19, 20, right? 30s, 40s. We're not kids. So changing who you are is literally changing the whole chemistry about yourself, how you process things, how you think things. And eventually you would have to, you would have to change things, because the person you are now and the profitable trader you're trying to be, or the consistently profitable trader you're trying to be, those are two different people. Entirely two different people. They have different activities. They go to bed at different times. They have different emotional process. And that's something that most people do not take account for. Most people want to come into this, stay at being who they are, and, never have to make that major mental shift. I think it was this weekend, funny enough, 6 Sense, I have a lot of respect for him, 6 Sense, posted something, and it was kind of like, when you're ready, you stop making excuses. Now, everybody feels the stopping to make excuses is you waking up one morning and literally going, this is it, my life has changed. Everybody's waiting for that light bulb to come on. But you have to understand, stopping to make excuses could be something as little as you know what, I usually would go to bed. Let's say you're a day trader and your day starts by 7 in the morning. Like, that's when you should start looking for trades, right, for London Kill Zone. But then you're going to bed by 2 because you were probably out partying, because you're probably out with your girl or with your man, in case you're a girl, or you were probably watching a movie on Netflix. Now 7 o'clock comes. What is going to happen is that if you manage to wake up before 7, because that's the thing, you can't be saying I'm going to wake up 5 minutes to 7 because my desk is in my room or is in my house. You have to actually wake up and have an awake mind, because most times you could wake up but then not be alert enough to notice the things that are happening in the market. Or you don't even wake up, because I've seen a lot of people always tweet that, and I was a victim to it. Miss London, miss the street because London happened too early, and those are just excuses. Now, when you're having that kind of attitude, there is no way in hell that your backtesting results is going to ever match with when you're in the live market, because you have to take into consideration how much you can weather. And you have to be very honest, because at the end of the day, if you are not honest with yourself, you're only cheating yourself. A lot of people are looking at what the other person is doing. In this FX game, right, you are your biggest ally and you're your biggest enemy. I'll say it any day, anytime. You are your biggest ally and you are your biggest enemy. You're probably more of your enemy than an ally, and you have to fight that battle and find a way to support yourself rather than, undo yourself. Now, if we're to take away like the swinging side, let's say you backtest a strategy, right? And your strategy is showing after every 4 or 5 losses. Let's say, for instance, like it's a norm for your strategy to have 5 losses in a row. But then it does show that it would pull back into profit at the end of the month, right? It does show that it will pull back into profit at the end of the month. Most people look at that and go, it doesn't matter like whether the losses come or not, right? I'm profitable, which is the truth, which is absolute truth. Most of you think, right, which is what everyone says, losses are part of the game, it's fine. But have you actually asked yourself, what would happen when these losses come? Will I be able to actually weather it? That's the difference. All right, if I can't weather it and I can't create a new strategy, what do I have to do? I have to probably drop my risk so that I care less about the losses. Because I kid you not, anybody that says in this game, when you become profitable, you become emotionless, is cap. The thing is that those guys have found a way to accept certain things, and it's not because they're making money, they don't have emotions anymore. They have found a way to find a balance between their strategy and who they are as a person. Let me give you an instance. My strategy could probably, if I'm trading EU alone, maybe 3-4 losses stretch, right? Then wins come. But I'm trading 2 pairs, so I can probably run into 6 losses. Easy. Because I am trading 2 pairs. Now, what did I do in that situation? I cut down my risk probably by like 1/3 of my usual risk. That way, I know that, let's say for instance, I'm trading a funded account, right? I cap my losses to 2 a day per pair. So if I'm trading anywhere from 0.3 to 0.5% per trade, in a day I'm probably losing about 1.2 to 2, to there about 2%. I really do not care. And when I mean I do not care, you guys might feel is the thing about where I take the losses, I go out and I laugh. It stresses me out sometimes because like I have a bad week. In as much as everybody goes, oh, emotionless, nobody likes to lose. I think that's one thing that we all, anybody that is listening to this that is actually a trader and say that they don't mind, they can lose for a month and 2 months straight and they'll be fine. None of us likes losing. And that's what we're always constantly trying to develop, trying to get to the next level, trying to see how we can do better, trying to see how we can cut our losses. It doesn't mean we run away from the losses, but nobody can tell me they wake up every day saying, if I lose for the whole month, I am happy. None of us, nobody likes doing that. So you have to find a way to be honest with yourself when you're backtesting. You can't see your strategy hit 4 or 5 losses in a row. Let me give you an instance. You are applying for a prop firm account. You can't see your strategy doing 4 or 5 losses in a row. Easy, right? And you tell yourself, oh, but at the end of the month it was profitable. Then you then go ahead and apply for a prop firm account and you're risking 1% on your trade. You would be mentally, I don't even want to curse, mentally screwed. Let me tell you why you'd be mentally screwed. On a prop firm account, a 1% risk is equivalent to a 10% risk on a normal account. You've got 10 shots and that's it. Except my forex ones, which you've got 12. Right? Any other prop firm, let's use the standard, 10 bullets and that's it. Now, when you take those 5 losses that your backtesting showed you, it's all right. When you take the first, the second, the third, the fourth, you're telling yourself, all right, cool. I have 1 more loss and then my strategy should come back, right? And you take the 1 more loss. This is something again you have to understand. Your backtesting is still a probability. It doesn't mean that going into the next 10 years, that's how things would always play out. If the strategy is telling you 4 losses in a row, bet that at some point, because except you backtested the whole market from probably the 1980s, at some point, what is going to happen is that your strategy will probably run into 7 losses. And there's going to be a time that you trade for 4 months and the most loss you see is 3. So let me give you an instance. You take 1, 2, 3, 4. Your strategy is saying 5 losses, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 losses. At this point, your palms are sweating because you have 6 more chances before you mess up your challenge or your verification or your whole live accounts, right? And then you take another loss and you say, all right, cool, this is it. The next trade is going to be a winner. Now, if you're silly enough, you would go ahead and over leverage on the next trade. And then it ends up being a loss. And then the emotional cycle comes. The next one comes, you're panicking. Should I take it or should I not take it? That one banks what? 5R, 3R, 2R, 10R. And you have missed out on that winning trade. And then the next one, you take it with half risk because you're now trying to not quickly lose your account. So basically, you have abandoned your whole strategy. Now you're doing something else because you were not realistic with yourself and what you could actually handle. I had a conversation with someone. This was still Friday, and his strategy is basically when he was backtesting 3 losses or most, right? Since he got funded, because he did the challenge, passed it, did the verification, passed it, right? He did the challenge and passed it in like 2 days. Did the verification, passed it in 3 weeks because he's more of like a swing trader. And then he got to the live accounts. Strategy ran him like 4 or 5 straight losses. At this point, he said he was panicking so hard, he didn't know what to do. Now, obviously, he was able to pull it back out because he was able to stand his ground, so he was able to pull it back out. And his second month now is up like 22%, which is good. If you know you can't weather it, that's all what I'm saying. When you backtest, ask yourself if you can weather the numbers that you're seeing. Don't just look at the end of the month, because that's the thing. Mental capital is an honest conversation everybody should have, even as friends and even most of all with yourself. Now, everyone might jump on me now and be like, Why are you saying this? Now, I'm not saying limit yourself. I'm not saying, oh, trade so much little risk that you don't care. At the same time, I'm not saying, don't try to do too much. Just manage yourself. But before you project something, right, or you're trying to get to the next level, you should be honest enough with yourself about where you're currently at the moment. Me as a person, me as Yas, right? You as whoever it is that's watching. What can I handle at this point? That's a conversation nobody ever wants to have with themselves. Everybody's talking about, oh, my strategy is saying 20%, my strategy is saying 40%, my strategy is saying 30%, my strategy is saying 15%. Yeah, I'm good to go. What's the drawdown rate in your strategy? What's the probability that it might not work out in a certain month? Are you fine with it not working out in a month? Or you're just going all in saying, it's profitable, I should be fine all the way through. Now, when people are backtesting, at a go, you could go through like 2 months of backtesting, 2 to 3 hours. If you know what you're looking for, right? If you know what you're trying to achieve, you can go through like 2 months of backtesting, like 2 to 4 hours, right? And that's it. Your mind isn't actually processing the losses or the wins. It's literally just numbers, right? 2R, 4, -1, -1, plus 3, 2R, 3. All you're focusing on is at the end of the month. Oh, what happened at the end of this month? 20. What happened at the end of 20? Oh, shit, man, I have a strategy that's averaging 22 hours a month. I'm good. I have a strategy that's doing 20% a month, 15% a month. That's all right. And if you keep on going about things like this, you would always struggle with my backtest results are not lining up with my real results. And now, if we're to take away like just the numbers, let's talk about your discipline. Again, this is another conversation people don't want to have. You can't be saying you're a day trader and you're staying up till 3 a.m. and you're wondering why you're waking up late. It's so obvious. You cannot be saying, I want to be a day trader, London kill zone, New York kill zone. You're not getting enough sleep at night. So you managed to wake up for London Open, but because you probably had 3-4 hours of sleep. So yeah, now during New York session, you're battling sleep. You can't be saying, I want to focus in the London kill zone, and you're probably watching a YouTube video because you're waiting for a trade. When you say you want to dedicate something to something, that actually sacrifices that have to be made. I was talking to this guy, my friend, on Friday, and I brought a YouTube and he said, oh yeah, how did you know about that? Because it has happened to me. I'm not actually saying I'm perfect, but I have been through each and every one of them. I'm telling you, like going to bed late, not waking up in the morning and missing out on a 10-hour trade, and thinking that that's fine. You have to understand, the price we pay as entrepreneurs, as traders, is probably 50 times more than a 9-to-5 I would pay. If you miss work, it's a query you're getting. You're still going to get paid your salary at the end of the month. If you fall sick, it's fine. You just have to speak to the boss and hopefully you have a good manager or whatever the situation is to give you a week off and you get paid your full salary. Talk about if you're working for a proper company. You get like a work leave. You don't get done with a project, they get pissed at you, pass it on to someone else, or they tell you to do it all over again. In trading, it's almost ones and zeros. You don't wake up early, you miss the trade, that's it. You have literally, depending on how much hours you're trying to go or percentages, you have started this ripple effect because you've missed out on 1, 2, 3, 4 winners at this point because you're watching YouTube, because you were trying to gain, because you were talking to your girl, because you were talking to your man, because you were trying to cook and at the same time execute trades. You have to be able to plan your life. You have to be able to plan your life around your strategy. I know that is so wild. Yeah, crazy. But most people feel like the strategy has to plan it. No, you have to plan your life around your strategy. If your strategy says 7 to 10 London kill zone, right? And then you start New York kill zone by like 1 to 5, right? Let's just say that's the situation. Bro, you have to go to bed early so that you can wake up in the morning and actually do an analysis of what the day has to offer for you. When you're done by 10, you head out and you do something else. So I say head out, so you can probably go like grab something or whatever the situation is. But you can't be thinking to yourself, during the London kill zone, that's when you decide to watch that movie or catch up on Squid Game or catch up on that series that, you had not seen, and yeah, this is the best time to do it. Honestly, this is the thing that is stopping a lot of people from being profitable. This is the thing that stopped me for a very long time from being consistent to the level I felt I needed to, because that's the thing, when your backtest results don't match with your actual results and probably you spent time in the game, you almost start feeling like, nah, the matrix is, something is rigged out here. I should deserve more. I mean, how dare you say you deserve more when you're not going to bed early? when you're not waking up early. Almost everybody that I have come across, right, that are doing okay or that are doing excelling in the field that they're in, I probably don't know them on like, if they're like, yo, they're my bros. Some of them I do know them as my bros, right? But their level of discipline is something else. Like, they might not tell me this is what I'm doing, but you see it. It reflects. Sixth Sense, Street Trader FX, Da Vinci, Coin Trader, Litz. This is not even like a name drop thing, but I'm talking to people that it shows. It's ones and zeros. Yeah, it might seem like they're having a good time and going out, but when it's time to work, they actually put in the work. And yeah, this is not me trying to like plug people or whatever the situation is. Some of them, I don't talk to them like on a date. Probably like, yeah, if they do mention or something, they would reply me or I would reply them, right? And some of them, I do have some kind of relationship with them. Some of them are my bros. I don't want to like start name dropping, but something I would say is it will reflect. You have to plan your life around your strategy, around your game plan. I cannot tell you the amount of times I wake up London kills and I see people tweet, oh yeah, I missed it because I was sleeping. Oh shit, catch it another day. And you're thinking it's fine, you know. I mean, after all, you don't have a boss that's going to query you. But the price you have paid for missing that trade, yeah, it's quite hefty. If you miss a trade out of lack of discipline, out of sheer selfishness, it's something you need to be actually very watchful of. Something you have to be very watchful of. A lot of people are big on like, I'm just going to close this soon. A lot of people are kind of like big on throwing caution to the wind, throwing tantrums, you know, they blame everything except themselves. The market is rigged. This is too hard. That mentor is not good enough. That group was shit. I would say it, literally 9.5 of you, each and every group you have literally, I was about to say something. Each and every group that 8 guys have literally gone into, right? Probably maybe the person's technique wasn't for you, but now it's time you guys can apply yourself. You thought the strategy was the answer. It is the answer. But it's how do I put this? It's kind of like you holding a gun and thinking you're Rambo all of a sudden. No, you're not. You're not even close. Have you done the training? No. But no, you just feel, yeah, as soon as you have the big gun in your hand, that's it. It's over. Like, that's all what you just needed to figure out. There's something called KPIs, right? Key performance indicators. There's a way I calculate, and the next video, that's what I'll put out. And probably the video would come in maybe on Monday, maybe like on Monday or Tuesday. And how I use it is basically I have them, and this will practically only apply to people that actually, you know, backtest in terms of like, they have somewhat of a mechanical strategy. Right? They have somewhat of a mechanical strategy and they're able to look back at your day and say, this and this and this is what I would have done. And I have a way of measuring how did I perform on my week-to-week basis. Was I at the 60% rate, 70%, 80%? I have a way of measuring my strike rate in terms of like what it should be. And I have a way of measuring my like risk reward or percentages in terms of what it should be if I was performing at 100%. And this keeps me in check. Anyways, I'll just wrap it up here. All I'm saying is your backtest results could easily be reflecting on your live result. Now, it might not be 100%. It might have to be 80 or 70 or 90. And I bet if any one of you guys were hitting the 80% of the results you should be getting in backtesting, or 70, you'd be more than happy. But you're probably doing about 20% or 30% of it. The trick is actually being honest with yourself when you're backtesting. That's one. And secondly, having the discipline to actually put in the work, make the sacrifices, and follow through with what your backtesting has told you to do. It's not just about the numbers or what level to buy out or what strategy. Are you even buying out at the level? Are you getting scared to buy at the level when it actually does happen? Then maybe you need to change the strategy. Maybe you're psychologically not ready to handle something that techy. Either ways, guys, that's it for today. That's it for the advice/rant. The next video, I'll actually show you guys how I calculate the KPIs, what I do, how I go about it, and how you can use it. I'll literally drop, it's literally a formula and everything. I'll share it with you guise, and that's when I'll actually like share purpose skin and everything. Either way, guys, do have a beautiful weekend. Speak to you guys later.